Get a rebound to close. Minnesota wins 93-92. 20 from James Harden, a double-double with 11 assists, 16 from Ivica Zubac, who had 13 rebounds, including a putback to make it a one-point game. 12 from Mir Coffey, 17 off the bench from Kevin Porter Jr., and a dozen from Nico Batum. And Minnesota's four-game losing streak comes to a close here at the Target Center as they take down the Clippers by one. Well, I'm excited for Wednesday. These two teams will take each other on once again in what should be an excellent ball game at Intuit Dome. You do not want to miss it. Minnesota takes round one. Round two in a couple days. We will see you in a moment. Adam Oslin will take controls of the postgame show when we return. Our final score here from Minnesota. The Clippers finish the road trip 2-2. They fall 93-92 to the Timberwolves. Here in the Clippers Audio Network.
Clippers lose a heartbreaker in Minnesota. They fall 93-92 late to the Timberwolves. Welcome into your postgame show. I'm Adam Oslin. Coming up, second half highlights, your postgame box score, and Clippers talk on AM 570 LA Sports. If you want to get on early, 866-987-2570. But first, we go back out to Target Center with Carlo Jimenez. Carlo, I was wondering late there if the Clippers might foul. Maybe clue me in on this because I wasn't sure. The game clock versus shot clock. Were there 2 more seconds on the shot clock or less on the shot clock than the game clock in this one? Is that why the Clippers didn't foul?
Yeah, they had about 2 seconds in between shot and game clock, Adam, down the stretch. I agree with you because it is a 1-point game. Even if you foul, you have a chance to tie. So I understand the thinking there. But also, Adam, the Clippers defense had forced 17 steals tonight. So maybe you think our defense has been so good. Let's get a stop, rely on them, and then hopefully get a bucket on the other end. It's a coin flip decision from Ty Lue. I don't think he made the wrong one in this one with the way his defense had been playing. The Clippers lost this game because they scored 2 points in the final 4 minutes and 10 seconds, and that was the Ivica Zubac tip in, and had 3 turnovers in that stretch as well. They look so good at him, but I think at the end of this 4-game road trip, a long one at that, they just ran out of gas down the stretch, could not get the offense going that had been working at such a high level through those first 3 quarters.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's a tough call. All the steals, all the turnovers they were creating, they just couldn't get that offensive rebound away from the Minnesota Timberwolves, who got a couple of them. And it looked like Chris Dunn was going to come up with it. He lost the ball to Mike Conley. It was a little bit of a chaotic sequence late there, and the Clippers just stalled out on the offensive end. You mentioned it, but just 2 points in the last 4 minutes. Clippers offense not good enough when it needed to be in a defensive battle. But there were so many good performances in this one. I felt like Ivica Zubac played very well. I know they tried to give him the basketball against Rudy Gobert late there, weren't able to, as Kevin Porter Jr. turned it over as he was falling out of bounds and rolled his ankle there. But James Harden with big shots. Nico Batum with some huge shots in this one for the Clippers. They just come up 1 point short.
1 point short, and all I can think about, Adam, is Dante DiVincenzo's bank 3 at the end of the shot clock on the left wing. The Clippers were that close in this one. They were that close, and like you said, a lot of positives to take away. I think there was a lot of moments in which they looked like a team that had figured things out offensively and defensively. Adam, probably their best defensive performance of the season when you think about all the turnovers they forced and the way they were slowed down in offense that had been lights out to start the game. Minnesota came into this game averaging 112 points, and they finished with 93 of them on the night, almost 20 points less than their season average. The Clippers were excellent on the defensive end. It was fun to watch this team play with so much heart, play like they were the team that had lost 4 in a row, but I think you just run out with a little steam late. The good news is, though, you got them one more time. Minnesota will come to town on Wednesday, and let me tell you what, that is going to be a fun rematch.
Yeah, I like the way these two teams match up against one another here. The defensive battle that this turned into, the grind house that the Target Center turned into, that was a fun one. Unfortunately, the Clippers came up just short. They lose 93-92 in Minnesota to the Timberwolves. As Carlo mentioned, they'll run it back at Intuit Dome next week, December 4th. But before that, on Sunday, Clippers back home taking on the Denver Nuggets Sunday night. Tip-off for that one at Intuit Dome is at 7. We'll have your pregame show starting at 6. Carlo Jimenez, great call as always. Will be good to see you back home at Intuit on Sunday night, my friend.
I missed you, Adam. I will see you Sunday. Clippers will hope to get back in the win column. We got another one. Let's go.
Clippers fall late in Minnesota to the Timberwolves. Final score 93-92. Second half highlights coming up next right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers lose late in Minnesota, 93-92, as they could not execute late in the ball game. With 4 minutes and 10 seconds left, the Clippers led 90-87, but they would score just 2 more points on a tip-in by Ivica Zubac, and they would lose 93-92. They got outscored 6-2 in the final 4 minutes of this one. And then an interesting play down the stretch as I bring it up on my phone to try to rewatch exactly what happened here. With just under 40 seconds left, it's Minnesota basketball. It's 93-92. They lead by 1. The Clippers get a stop. They get the ball back. They have a chance to win the ball game. Even if Minnesota scores and it's not a three-pointer, it's still a one-possession game here. But the Clippers were not able to secure an offensive rebound after a miss by Neil Alexander-Walker in the near side corner. It was contested by Batum. Chris Dunn tips it out to himself over Rudy Gobert with 29.8 seconds left, goes for the basketball and got caught by the turf monster, the green floor. He falls over, going for it, loses it. Mike Conley ends up picking it up. There's 27.3 seconds left. So Minnesota basketball, and there's about a 2-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock now. Make it 3 seconds. Minnesota has it back once again. The Clippers could still end up getting a stop here late and finding a way to win this ball game. But instead of fouling, they elected to play it out with how good their defense was and a 3-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock. I can understand why. Minnesota, though, was running down the clock. They were parking the bus here late. 10 seconds left. They get it to the right wing. Here comes Naz Reid with the basketball, puts it on the floor, attacks. I think this is Julius Randle. Has 3 players on him. There's 7.5 seconds left here. The Clippers still could elect a foul, but nor James Harden or Ivica Zubac or Nico Batum elect to do so against Julius Randle here. He kicks it back out. Mike Conley Jr. has it. 3.2 seconds left on the shot clock, 6 seconds left on the game clock. He puts up a three-pointer. This would effectively end the game and put them up by 4. There's 4 seconds left. It hits the front of the rim as I'm trying to Zapruder film my way through this. And again, an offensive rebound by the Minnesota Timberwolves. Could the Clippers have fouled? The shot was put back up immediately. Nico Batum was there. It looked like it was Anthony Edwards and Rudy Gobert underneath the hoop. It would have to be Nico Batum fouling Rudy Gobert with 1.9 seconds left. That could have been the decision right there. He did not. Rudy Gobert eventually tried to take it back out and kicked it back out to the near side corner to Mike Conley. That would have ended the ball game. 93-92 is your final. There was an opportunity there to intentionally foul Rudy Gobert underneath the basket. Nico Batum was the guy closest to him. They didn't. And there were some errors made, and the Clippers self-destructed a little bit down the stretch there. They end up losing by 1 in Minnesota to the Timberwolves. 93-92 was your final. We'll take a quick timeout. We'll come back. We'll get your final box score. Clippers drop to 12-9 on the season, and the Timberwolves break a 4-game losing streak. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. I'm not playing tonight, Clipper Nation. If you're in here in the chat on the YouTube side at Clippers Talk and you're saying Chris Dunn is trash because he lost the basketball late after getting a rebound over Rudy Gobert, a guy who was and has been one of the best players this season for the Clippers, you're getting a timeout immediately. I'm not doing this overreaction. That's crap. I'm sorry. That's insane. Chris Dunn is part of the reason they were in this ball game, part of the reason they had 17 steals. His defense is elite. We're not playing the blame game and saying trade Chris Dunn after one bad play, where the only reason he even had a shot to get that board is because he tipped it out to himself over Rudy Gobert somehow. Clippers lose a heartbreaker. Let's not blow things out of proportion. Let's not overreact here. They lose 93-92 in Minnesota to the Timberwolves. It drops them to 12-9. Minnesota's 4-game losing streak is over. And they get their first victory in about a week and a half here. Clippers did everything they needed to defensively in this ball game. They didn't execute well enough down the stretch, period. And they should have fouled Rudy Gobert with 2 seconds left on the game clock when he got the rebound. I just rewatched it. Nico Batum is right there. He doesn't foul him. The Clippers seem to have a memory lapse of sorts late, not knowing exactly what they needed to do. LA went 1 for their last 6 from the field with 3 turnovers in the last 4 minutes and 10 seconds. That's why they lost the basketball game more than anything. So let's not do this thing where we talk about getting rid of guys or overreacting and saying somebody's bad because they had a rough play late. I'm not hearing that stuff. We are out of here until Sunday night. Clippers back home, taking on the Denver Nuggets. Tip-off is at 7, pregame at 6. Outside of Los Angeles, we're leaving you until then. But coming up next, here on AM 570 LA Sports, we got Clippers Talk. Clippers had a Chicago Bears-esque end to the game. They lose 93-92 after a botched final possession where you simply have to foul Rudy Gobert with 2 seconds left underneath the basket with the ball before he had a chance to kick it out and they could run the clock out and win the game. Clippers lose by 1 in Minnesota to the Timberwolves. Welcome into Clippers Talk. I'm Adam Osland, 866-987-2570, 866-987-2570. If you're listening on AM 570 LA Sports or on the YouTube live side at Clippers Talk, appreciate you. Don't appreciate the overreaction saying we should trade Chris Dunn. You guys are nuts. One bad possession, which he created, getting a board over Rudy Gobert, where he couldn't secure the basketball, ended up losing it, slipping on the surface. I'm wondering if any players are going to talk about a slick surface out there on that green court. First, KPJ lost it out of bounds and turned his ankle, and then Chris Dunn at the end couldn't get his footing underneath him. Got bit by the turf monster or attacked. The green monster, the neon green monster. Frustrating loss because it was right there for the Clippers. In fact, they were in control late. At the 4:10 mark, they're up 90-87. They score just 2 points the rest of the way and had 3 turnovers over that stretch. Not good enough. 1 for their last 6 from the field with 3 turnovers in the last 4 minutes and 10 seconds. In a defensive slugfest, sure. But they had opportunities. And I think part of the reason they lost was, well, they didn't get Big Zoo involved enough. They forget about Ivica Zubac. I know they tried to go to him on that play where KPJ fell out of bounds and slipped out of bounds and got hurt. He had deep position on the block against Rudy Gobert. But how does he only get up 9 shots in a game where he's 8 for 9 in 33 minutes? He looked good against Rudy Gobert. He had one of the best post moves I've seen by anyone all season long. One of their few buckets down the stretch. Ivica Zubac with a crazy shoulder fake on Rudy Gobert. I want to try to find the point of the game that was at. Going to his right. Just ridiculous shot fakes and shoulder fakes. That was near the end of the third quarter when the Clippers weren't scoring. I don't know how you don't get it to him more and get him more involved. It has been a constant theme that has gone on for far too long. And with the way he was playing against Rudy Gobert, it's just inexcusable. The Clippers had multiple opportunities. And yeah, we can talk about Terrence Mann not finishing in transition, where the Clippers had a Jordan Miller steal, but a missed layup to start the fourth. Then a man steal, but got blocked by Naz Reid. Then Mo rejected Dante DiVincenzo on the other end. Man gets it, gets blocked again in transition by Naz Reid. Naz gets an and one. Clippers were down by 7, 78-71, early in the fourth, in that constant uphill battle that they were dealing with all night. Those were big missed opportunities. The Dante DiVincenzo banked in 3 right after Nico Batum tied the game, who played brilliantly, outside of just not fouling Rudy Gobert there at the end with 2 seconds left. He ties the game, and I think 78, after hitting multiple threes. And Dante DiVincenzo banks in a 3 at the end of the shot clock. Just a crazy, wild, Hail Mary, throw it up. Better to be lucky than good sometimes shot. That was a huge one that I can't forget. after it was tied, not at 78, but at 80 all, with 7:49 left. And then Dante DiVincenzo hits that three. They're up 83-80. But the Clippers, they get down 7 again. It's 87-80. After Rudy Gobert gets an easy one. Mo Bamba then gets the oop from KPJ. 87-82. Clippers battling back. KPJ, tough jumper on the right elbow, fading away on Rudy Gobert. 87-84. 3-point game. Clippers getting stop after stop. Then Ivica Zubac gets a huge dunk with the right hand after a perfect pocket pass in the pick and roll from James Harden at the 4:46 mark. Clippers are down by 1. Then the James Harden and 1 that I thought was going to be the shot of the game that got them the victory. A 3-point play that turned into a 4-pointer after he was fouled at the 4:10 mark. They only scored 2 points the rest of the way after he knocked down the free throw to complete the 4-point play. Just very, very frustrating. Clippers offense stalled out like we had seen earlier in the season during crunch time, during clutch time. Or they're now, I think, 5-6 this year. But they had a 3-point lead with under 4 minutes left. And you score 2 points the rest of the way. Brutal offensive stretch. Minnesota was locked in. It worked like I thought it would. Anthony Edwards calling them out after their loss on Wednesday, saying they were soft. I knew there would be a spirited effort from the Minnesota Timberwolves. And they played with great intensity and matched the Clippers on that end, who were awesome defensively still. It's not like Minnesota did a lot of damage. They only had 6 points the last 4 minutes, but 4 more points than the Clippers had. The Clippers turned them over at will. 17 steals after they just had 18 against the Wizards on Wednesday. I just don't know how you don't come through and have better offensive execution down the stretch. But I think some of it is just not enough of the offense is being played through Ivica Zubac. Something I've been saying forever. So let's go through the shot attempts for the Clippers after they had that 3-point lead off the 4-point play from James Harden at the 4:10 mark. It's 90-87 Clippers. They get a Jaden McDaniels miss. But then a Chris Dunn turnover. That would lead to an Anthony Edwards dunk. 90-89. James Harden goes for the kill shot. Another 3. Step back. No. Still Clippers up by 1. Ivica Zubac actually got the offensive rebound, tipped it back out to James. Tried another 3. Couldn't go. This seems to always be the theme when they're losing these games late. They're going for tough, long 3-point shots. James Harden. Missed floater. Clippers still up 90-89 until Anthony Edwards hit that 3 to make it 92-90. Chris Dunn missed an open 3. Clippers down by 2. Kevin Porter Jr. now with a shooting foul on Anthony Edwards. He misses the first, hits the second. Clippers down by 3. Timeout. That's when Kevin Porter Jr. was trying to find Ivica Zubac and lost the ball out of bounds after he slipped. Brutal, brutal play. They just... they couldn't even get their footing. Is anybody going to talk about that court? Am I out to lunch on that? Is a player going to say something? Still, Chris Dunn then gets the steal on Anthony Edwards. Incredible play. Clippers basketball. James Harden misses another 3-pointer. So that's 3 he has missed under 4 minutes and a floater. Ivica Zubac gets the offensive rebound over Gobert and tips it in. The only way he can get his offense going is by manufacturing it himself, apparently, because they ain't going to him. I don't know what the deal is there. The Clippers are down by 1 at 93-92 after Ivica Zubac tips in the missed three by James Harden with 50 seconds left. Nah misses a three-pointer. And there's the rebound that we thought Chris Dunn was going to have, but he couldn't secure it. He went over Rudy Gobert to tip it to himself, but he lost the ball slipping to the floor. It was a damn slip and slide out there. Crocodile Mile. I don't know what it was. With 26 seconds left, Mike Conley comes up with it. Clippers don't foul. They're trying to get the ball back. Believe they had a timeout. They just need a defensive stop. There was a 3-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock. Meaning when Mike Conley got the ball with 26 seconds left, eventually there was a 3-second difference. So the Clippers were gambling a little bit, thinking they could get the stop and get the board, get a timeout, and have 2 seconds at least left to get a shot off on the other end to win the game. Down by 1. Well, after Mike Conley missed a three-pointer with 4 seconds left, there was an opportunity there. As Anthony Edwards tried to tip it in, so you couldn't really foul him in time. But then the ball went into Rudy Gobert's hands with 2 seconds left, and Nico Batum's right there, but didn't foul his fellow Frenchman to put Rudy Gobert, a bad free throw shooter at the line, down 1 with 2 seconds left. That's the missed opportunity to me. I mean, there were a lot of things that went against the Clippers. Don't get me wrong. Some things that were miscues on their end and self-inflicted wounds. But they had an opportunity still to foul the guy you would want to send to the free throw line with 2 seconds left in Rudy Gobert, and they just didn't do it. I don't know what they were looking at. Nico was right there. I just rewatched the play. Guys, the people saying Chris Dunn should have given it to James Harden, he never secured the ball. He never had it. He lost the basketball. He couldn't call a timeout. He couldn't give it to James Harden because he lost the ball. He was falling to the floor because it was a crazy acrobatic rebound, tipping it to himself. I don't know what some people are watching. I just rewatched it. We'll take a quick timeout. We'll come back. We'll get to phone calls. 866-987-2570. 866-987-2570. Clippers lose in brutal fashion. A game in Minnesota where they led by 3 with 4:10 left, and they only scored 2 points the final 4 minutes of the ball game. 93-92 was your final in favor of the Wolves. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to Clippers Talk here on AM 570 LA Sports. You got to foul Rudy Gobert with 2 seconds left. That's the game. Had to be done. Clippers didn't get it done. 866-987-2570 is the phone number after the Clippers lose 93-92 in Minnesota to the Timberwolves in a game they probably should have won. After fighting that hard at the end of this game to lead by 3 with under 4 minutes left, to turn over Minnesota as many times as they did, to play some absolutely stellar defense. You hold a team to 93 points, you got to win that game. That is the ball game. And they still had chances at the very end, as my DirecTV app won't let me screenshot. Oh, they're slick with it, aren't they? I'm trying to put up the clip of Nico Batum and Chris Dunn. I misspoke. Chris Dunn was closest to Rudy Gobert on that final rebound off the miss from Mike Conley with about 2 seconds left. I get it. Heat of the moment. It's not easy. He's battling for the rebound. There's probably more like, 1.8 seconds left. But it just has to be done. Late game execution costed them. Again tonight. 866-987-2570. Some people are saying, can I give you a call? Yeah, you can. I put the number out. 866-987-2570. If you want to call in, call in. Don't be scared. Don't talk all this trash about Chris Dunn because he had a bad game or a bad moment late. My point is this. When are we going to stop going away from Ivica Zubac and freezing him out? Want to lose a basketball game? Best way to do so is to not get Ivica Zubac involved. If you are 8 of 9 from the field, and I think he started 4 of 5, maybe get that guy involved more. They forget about Zubac over and over again. I don't know if it's ever going to change at this point. I'm dismayed. I'm discouraged. Borderline despondent. But I got to talk to you guys on the radio. Guys, stop saying Chris Dunn should have called a timeout or given it to James Harden. He never secured the basketball. Those in the chat, he never secured the basketball and never should have even gotten that rebound over Rudy Gobert to begin with, which now you're using against him somehow. If you don't think his defense justified him being in the game late, I don't know what you were watching. He just got a turnover on Anthony Edwards. You leave that guy in. He was their best defender. People are getting put. This guy Ron said Chris Dunn is garbage. It's not one game. Look at his assists. You have no idea what you're looking at when it comes to impact on a basketball game. You're box score watching. You're clueless. You have no idea what wins games. Chris Dunn is in the top 4 lineups for the Clippers this season when it comes to plus minus. That means they're winning their minutes when Chris Dunn is out there. Do I need to do more lineup data? Plus minus work for some people to understand? I mean, I've never heard any criticism on Chris Dunn until tonight because some of you just overreact to one bad game, and it shows. It is really weak. And I don't even think he had a bad game. I think he had a couple bad moments. What are we talking about here? Like, he just got a steal because of his defense on Anthony Edwards. I think you need that guy out there. He's been closing games all season long. That's the guy I want. I can't believe the angry mob is at the point of blowing things out of proportion so badly after a loss that they want Chris Dunn out of the lineup. Let me read this to you. Here are the Clippers' top 3 lineups when it comes to plus minus. Here's a lineup that's played 121 minutes. James Harden, Chris Dunn, Ivica Zubac, Derek Jones Jr., and Amir Coffey. They're a plus 50. They're plus 50 in 121 minutes. That's incredible. Second best lineup. James Harden, Norman Powell, Chris Dunn, Ivica Zubac, Derek Jones Jr. They're a plus 24 in 84 minutes. Third best lineup. Nick Batum, James Harden, Chris Dunn. Oh, look at that. He's in the lineup again. Amir Coffey, Kevin Porter Jr. Plus 18 in 12 minutes. Come on, guys. Just stop it. Don't tell on yourself like this. Here's another one. Nico Batum, Chris Dunn, Ivica Zubac, Amir Coffey, Kevin Porter Jr. 54 minutes plus 10. All he does is win his minutes out there. That's all he does. If you're looking at how many assists he has or doesn't have or how he's shooting out there, you lost the plot long ago. Long ago. The team is 12-9, and they wouldn't be over 500 without Chris Dunn. This guy, Don can't help himself. Saying Kevin Porter Jr. played better than Dunn on both ends tonight somehow. Kevin Porter Jr. had a good game. That doesn't mean you go after Chris Dunn like this and say trade him or get him off the team or get him out of late game lineups when he is your best defender. Chris Dunn is your best defender. He just had a steal on Anthony Edwards. You guys understand that? He just ripped him. You're not taking him out. You're not. The Clippers are 4-2 without Norman Powell, who I thought was going to play. So I'll give myself a timeout for a second. Make it 5 seconds. If we were just on YouTube Live, on the YouTube side, yeah, I'd go timeout for longer. But I can't help some people that just want to overreact to one game. I'm not going to do that here. The starting lineup has been so much better since Chris Dunn was put in place of Terrence Mann. He earned it. And the Clippers are staying above water without Kawhi and without Norman Powell the last 6 games, who was arguably their best player. Greg in Newport Beach, you're on Clippers Talk with Adam Moslin. Hi, Greg.
What up, Adam? How you doing, man? First of all, happy Thanksgiving, brother. I haven't called you so far this season, but yeah, man. Listen, man. I love that kid, Chris Dunn, man. He's a hustler, man. He's a good defender. You know, he makes up on the defensive end where he lacks in offense. And man, I'm so impressed with this Clipper squad this year, man. I was very disappointed that they decided not to sign Paul George, but I can see why now with the team that we have. You go back to the beginning of the opening of the season, they could have easily won both of those games against Phoenix and have 14 wins instead of 12. But I like this team, Adam. They hustle. They actually plan some defense. I mean, not just in quarters, but sustaining it, you know, from beginning to the end. I guess that's Van Gundy bringing his defensive genius over here to Ty Lue's coaching staff. But I didn't see the game tonight, man, but I heard it on the radio and I listened to you pre and post game. I'm very happy. I'm proud of these boys. And I think that when Kawhi does come back and we get Norman Powell back healthy, I think the Clippers are going to be a force to reckon with in the Western Conference, man, even though you don't hear none of the prognosticators saying the Clippers, but I'm looking at them nightly, and I see a good team, and I think they're going to be a force to reckon with. Adam, thank you, man. Have a good night.
Oh, I agree with you, Greg, and I appreciate the phone call. I think they're a contender if they can get Kawhi healthy and him looking the way he did last season. You get last year's version of Kawhi Leonard, that's enough right there. That's it right there. They lost some heartbreakers. They also won some close games. I think 12-9 is a fair record and representation of where they are as a team. I think they're right where they should be based upon the bounces, the luck, the basketball gods. They're right where they should be. But I don't know why people are hating on the decision to put in Chris Dunn late. Like, if he secures that rebound, which he never even should have had a chance to get to, if he secures that rebound and doesn't turn it over and they win the game, nobody's saying that. Again, he got the steal on Anthony Edwards. Why are you guys ignoring that part? He's their best defender. You're going to end the game without your best defender out there? That's Chris Dunn. I don't care that he's struggling with his shot. 0 of 5 in this one. He's too valuable. He had 7 rebounds. He was behind Zoo with the starters. If you think Chris Dunn is the reason they lost this game, I got news for you. You're looking in the wrong spot. Not getting Ivica Zubac's more involved, something I talk about all the time, is the reason they lost this game to me. Zoo has to get involved. I don't know how many times I got to say it. It's no longer an option to get Ivica Zubac involved. If you don't get him involved, you're losing. Alioun in Lancaster, you're on Clippers Talk with Adam Austin. What's up, Alioun?
Yeah, yeah, good. Thank you for taking my call. Yeah, Chris Dunn, I don't have no problem with him because for me, he's the best defender I can see right now in Clippers. He's the only one who can remind me Kawhi Leonard.
There haven't been Alioun. Katie, can we pull him down? Alioun.
Yes.
There haven't been 5 defenders in the NBA so far this season better than Chris Dunn. There have not been 5 defenders in the NBA so far this season better than Chris Dunn on the perimeter. That's for damn sure. So everybody's saying, oh yeah, he shouldn't have been in the game. That's crazy to me. He's not only your best defender, he is one of the best defenders, on-ball defenders, in a game against Anthony Edwards in the league. Go ahead, Alioun.
Yeah. And also, I want to say something. We might need some little help in the offense.
Say that one more time for me, Alioun.
We need help in the offense.
Well, what are they going to do? This is the team they have.
Yeah,
they need
maybe,
Kawhi Leonard back.
Maybe
they need Norman Powell back. You want help? There's 2 guys.
Somebody like a Chris Paul will know.
All right, Alioun. I appreciate the phone call. Yeah, they have problems on the offensive end, but if you go out there and make a move, and people were talking about Zach LaVine before the season started, well, that takes away from your defense. Is that really a net positive? And given all you're going to have to give up for a guy who makes $40 million, that's problematic. The overreaction to Chris Dunn tonight, man, talk about what have you done for me lately? DUNN for me. I can't believe it. I can't believe how quickly people would turn on Chris Dunn. I know fan is for fanatic and fans are fickle, but come on, guys. He has seriously been a top 5 defender in the league. Is it lost on people why Anthony Edwards went 7 for 21 in the game? You don't think Chris Dunn had something to do with that? And because he didn't secure a rebound he shouldn't have been able to get to in the first place over Rudy Gobert, you're killing him? Man. Tough crowd. Brutal. We'll take a quick timeout. We'll come back. 866-987-2570. 866-987-2570 is the phone number. Clippers lose by 1 in Minnesota. And everyone's losing their minds. I'm Adam Oslin. This is AM 570 LA Sports. A lot of Friday morning or Saturday morning quarterbacking going on. Monday morning quarterbacking. Everyone's second-guessing everything. Now, why'd you bring Chris Dunn in? He secures the rebound and they win the game. Nobody's saying that. He's their best defender? Could that be why he's in the game? Anthony Edwards was 7 of 21, and Dunn just ripped him. Just stole the basketball. I'd love to know how many of the steals happened when Chris Dunn were out there, because the Clippers had 17 of them, which is a lot. And they came in bunches in the second half. They had 3 steals. There were 5 turnovers by Minnesota in the first 2.5 minutes of the third quarter. It was incredible what the Clippers were doing defensively. If you hold a team to 93 points, maybe we should be talking about what they didn't do on the offensive end instead of defensively. What was going wrong out there? I'm going to tell you, not feeding Ivica Zubac was the problem to me. I guess some people just want to find someone to blame in the chat at Clippers Talk on the YouTube side. People that were nowhere to be found last game. Harden has 43 last game. Tonight it's, why did you pass it to Ivica Zubac? Why didn't you give him the basketball? Well, he just hit a three-pointer. Yes, he did miss 3 threes the last 4 minutes when the Clippers were ice cold. One of them ended in a tip-in by Ivica Zubac. There are only 2 points the last 4 minutes of the game. He missed a floater as well. He wasn't great. Now people are just going off of single game plus minus. You guys understand when the backups have a big plus like that, it's often because they're going up against the other team's backups. You go with your best defender in a game against Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves. That is the game plan decision. And I don't think it was the wrong one. Maybe we could hear from Coach Lou postgame. I'm going to see if we have any audio here. As the Clippers lost to Minnesota, 93-92. I'm Adam Osland. This is Clippers Talk here on AM 570 LA Sports. And on the YouTube side. Are we going out? I was going to send you a Coach Lou audio. That's what I was talking about. Coach Lou postgame. Sent your way, Katie. A lot of wires being crossed tonight. There's the Clippers not fouling with at least a minute and a half or a second and a half left on Rudy Gobert. Just unbelievable. You have to intentionally foul. Under 2 seconds left. You're not going to steal the basketball away. You got to put Rudy Gobert at the line. That's the guy you want at the line. You're down by 1. He goes 1 for 2 with 3, wins it. Here was Coach Lou postgame.
I guess we got to start with the end of that game's decision to try and play it out. What were you hoping your players would be able to do, and why didn't it quite work out for you guys there?
When?
Just the last, I guess, 30 seconds or so, when there was a little bit of time between the shot clock and the game clock, and obviously if a foul probably gives y'all a chance to get the ball again. Didn't work out like that. Like, what were you hoping the players would execute there?
Exactly what we executed. To fire, get them to shoot the ball early, but we just secured a rebound. So once we didn't get the rebound, of course we knew the game was over. But I liked our defense all night. I liked what we did. I thought it was going to be hard for them to score on us, which it was. And we just didn't come up with the rebound to call the timeout to be down 1 with the basketball. So, yeah, whatever.
Obviously, y'all down double digits multiple times. We're able to erase both of those double digit leads. What helped y'all get back into the game? And I guess we can just go with
keep
that.
Fighting, keep competing like we always do. And, like I said, we got a resilient team. We're going to play hard to the end. I thought, the second half, holding this team to 40 points in the second half was huge for us. And our coverage were good. I thought a few we got away with, one and burnt us on. We can't go under on the pick and roll when he made the 3. We went on a few other times that, that we shouldn't have. We got lucky. But just keep competing, keep scrapping, keep fighting like we was doing. And then, offensively, just be able to make a few shots. I think we were 21 for 46 in the paint. You know, we didn't capitalize once we got into the paint, and so it made it hard for us.
Besides just the paint, like I think you guys only scored once at the Zoo Hook in the last 4 minutes of the game. Like, what was the challenge scoring in particular, just in this game in general?
No, I thought we got some good shots that we didn't make. So I mean, you know, you make some, you miss some, and I thought we got good shots. We just didn't complete it.
There was Coach Lou post game as people continue in the chat to blame Chris Dunn. Like Don. Don gonna get timeout. Gonna get a timeout. He said Dunn had no points and no assists, plus a couple bad turnovers. If this is a good game for him, I'll lower my expectations. I didn't say it was a great game for him. I said having your best defender on the floor late is smart basketball. He had a steal on Anthony Edwards. He almost had the rebound over Rudy Gobert, which would have gotten them another possession and a chance to win the game. He couldn't secure it. You heard from Coach Lou there talk about it. They got the miss. They couldn't secure the rebound. No, Don, the Clips defense isn't so good primarily because of Zoo. They actually have great perimeter defenders now. I don't know if you knew this, but Ivica Zubac was on the Clippers team last season that finished 16th defensively. Now they're 5th defensively. You know why? Because of guys like Chris Dunn and DJ on the perimeter and Nico Batum being back. I don't know to help some people. I'll help myself to a timeout here. Clippers lose 93-92, and everyone's melting down and saying wild stuff in the chat and overreacting like their team has never lost before. They thought they were going to go 82-0. I don't know what I expected. It's the internet. There's always casuals like Don. I'm Adam Oslin. You're listening to Clippers Talk here on AM 570 LA Sports and the YouTube side. Welcome back in. I'm Adam Oslin. This is Clippers Talk after they lose 93-92 by 1 in Minnesota. There's a bunch of people who aren't normally in the chat just saying crazy, wild stuff like trade Chris Dunn. Clippers suck. It's just like, guys, they're 12-9. Can we not overreact to one game and one bad play at the end where I think Miles Johnson put it best. The Dunn rebound was crazy. He had no right to get to that, so it's harsh to blame him for that play. The turnover to KPJ in the backcourt after Harden just hit that 4-point play would be my gripe. That's fair. Let's take a timeout. A quick 10-second timeout. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification here on AM 570 LA Sports.
This is LA Clippers basketball. AM 570 KLAC Los Angeles, 98.7 KYSR HD2 Los Angeles, and iHeart radio station.
Yeah, I guess it would have been better for Dunn just to not fight for that rebound than fighting for it and losing it, right? That's the logic some people are using here. The pitchforks and torches being out for Chris Dunn after this game just baffles me. Boggles the mind. A guy who has been this good for the Clippers this season has legit looked like a top 5 defender in the league, and you guys want someone to blame so you can oversimplify things always. And by you guys, I just mean a couple people, but it's still annoying. I don't know who this Don guy is in here, but my God, I ain't got time for this tonight. I'm frustrated too by this Clippers loss. It doesn't mean I'm going to just go wildly blaming people for one bad play or because he went 0 for 5 when he's a defensive specialist out there and held Anthony Davis, helped hold him to 7 of 21. But never mind that part. The part where the Clippers held a team to 93 points. If you're looking for reasons that they lost the game, look no further than a stretch where they had more turnovers than points in the last 4 minutes. 3 turnovers to 2 points in the last 4 minutes of the game. And the only 2 points were scored by Ivica Zubac on an offensive rebound and a tip-in. He had to create them himself because he wasn't getting the basketball. I don't know how the Clippers changed their approach with Ivica Zubac because that's what has me pulling my hair out. He is 8 for 9 from the field. 8 for 9. Has 16 and 13. How's a guy that has missed one shot not even get to double figures in shot attempts? This has happened far too much, and I'm going to keep stressing it until somebody listens to me. The easiest path to victory is playing through Ivica Zubac more. If you want to lose a game, don't give Big Zoo the ball. Go look at their losses. Go look at his numbers in wins versus losses. There is a stark contrast in how often he's getting the basketball. I don't know how to put it any more plainly. He's getting over 2 more shot attempts per game in wins versus losses. Like, he's the same guy. He's shooting the same field goal percentage in wins versus losses. He's just not getting the ball in losses. Feed Big Zoo, please. Reward the guy. Make it easier on yourself. When you can't score, when you can't create anything, dump it into Ivica Zubac and let him go to work. I cannot believe the move he made on Rudy Gobert at the end of the third quarter for that right-handed hook shot off the glass and in. The array of fakes that he put on Gobert, a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year winner, and Zoo absolutely cooked him. I don't know what it's going to take. M7MD Boys said Chris Dunn was amazing, our best defender, absolutely, but man, that slipping on the court at the end really ended our momentum. Well, you're going to blame him for getting a basketball he had no business getting to? Why do you think he slipped? Are people even watching that rebound over Gobert that he got? You're criticizing the guy for the wrong reasons. Absent said Zoo was in a beautiful rhythm. It was frustrating to see him not get more touches tonight. Probably the most amazing thing is it's not like they had a sequence where they kept going to him over and over again, and that's where all his points came. They came sporadically throughout the game, and yet he stayed in a rhythm. They would go stretches without getting him the basketball at all, yet his touch was still there. He had more bounce than I had seen. The 2 dunks he had with the right-handed hammers, the Statue of Liberty dunk he had, where he looked off of Ivica Zubac, that was in the first half and threw it down with the right hand, just amazing. Rock points out a great point. Amir has more shots in this game in 10 fewer minutes. Ivica Zubac in 33 minutes gets up 9 shots. Amir Coffey in 23 minutes gets up 10. We can end on that. I'm too frustrated. Clippers lose by 1, 93-92, in a game they should have won. Could have won. We'll get a chance to get it back next week at home against Minnesota. Next game, though, coming up on Sunday. Clippers at Intuit Dome taking on the Denver Nuggets. Tip off at 7, pregame at 6. Before we get out of here, I do want to thank the Clippers organization. Ralph Lawler, Brian Seaman, Noah Eagle, Carlo Jimenez on the call. Katie Newton, our producer, back in the bank. The callers, the chatters, even Dawn, whatever. Happy holidays. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Maybe you slept through this bad loss, or maybe you got some leftovers you can hit up to put yourself back in hibernation. I'm Adam Oslin. We'll talk to you on Sunday.